good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening to you, the good and wonderful people of a true purpose, everything grand and all is well in your world. Hello there, everybody. Welcome to NQ Wednesday, everybody. Let's get to question one today, shall we? Yes, let's go. Okay, so question one today is, do you enjoy Noel Gallagher and Liam Gallagher's music? And do you prefer either over the other? And what is your opinion on Oasis? So, I prefer Noel's music to Liam's music, apart from the cheesy disco Noel that came out recently. I do like the newer stuff he's brought out recently, but he did some kind of like dancey, kind of weird, kind of disco-y music a while back. Not a while back, but a bit ago. And I didn't really like that. You know, there was like a song called, was it Black Star Dancing or something like that? It was just a bit kind of like, what? I didn't really get it, to be honest with you. It wasn't really for me. I didn't really like it either. So I didn't really enjoy that, but I do like Noel's first solo album, second solo album, and the stuff he's just released is really, really cool as well. But Liam's music, I haven't really heard enough of it to really kind of like get into it, to be honest with you. What I've heard is pretty good, but it hasn't really grabbed me, if that makes any sense. Noel's music either grabs me or pushes me away. Liam's music kind of didn't do either. It was just kind of like, it was kind of like that. So I definitely have Noel. I'm definitely Camp Noel more than I am Camp Liam, if that makes any sense. I don't really, I don't know, but there's just something in Noel's sense of melody and expression of emotion that just appeals to me more than Liam's. And sometimes I get the impression Liam just is kind of like, I'm a rock star, aren't I? And that's literally as far as it goes. Whereas Noel is, Noel's of that kind of mind where he's kind of like, he's a songwriter and a guitarist, and he's everything first and then a rock star kind of last. Again, just my opinion. But it always seems to be kind of like more based on music for Noel than it did anything else, which I like a lot more. But yeah, like I said, I do prefer Noel over Liam. And what's your opinion on Oasis? I love Oasis. I grew up listening to Oasis. I'm kind of a 90s child. I was born in the 80s, but kind of like started to be obviously more aware of the world in the 90s. And I still remember when Oasis came out. Their music has so many happy memories to me. I remember being alive at the time of Oasis, and I've got very, very good memories of that time. It's very, very nice, and I love it. So I love Oasis. And again, I was always Team Oasis. During the Britpop wars, you had like Pulp and Blur and all these other bands, and I was always an Oasis fan. I really did love Oasis. It was kind of like Oasis and Nirvana were like the two main bands of my youth, along with kind of punk music like Stranglers and Sex Pistols and The Clash. But mainly the music that I was super aware of was Oasis and Nirvana. They were the two. I clearly remember sitting playing Resident Evil or Doom with my brother, listening to What a Story, Morning Glory, or Be Here Now albums, or some singles that my brother got, and I can remember listening to kind of like Nevermind and Incesticide as well by Nirvana. So I love Oasis. I will always love Oasis. Their music means a lot to me, and it really brings about a certain sense of being when I hear that music. It really makes me feel warm and nice inside. So yes, very much an Oasis fan. Okay, so I hope that's a question. Moving on to question two. Not question two. Question one, part two. Haha! He'll get there in the end. Do you like Hank Marvin's guitar playing? And what is your opinion on of him being one of the first, if not the first, British rock and roll guitarist that was mainstream before the British invasion? When it comes down to Hank Marvin, I don't really have an opinion. And I shouldn't really have an opinion because I haven't really heard enough of his stuff or got into him enough to have a worthwhile opinion on anyone. Basically, I'm just going to answer this by saying, I don't really know. I think he's really cool, and he inspired a lot of my heroes, which is awesome. But as for what my opinion on Hank Marvin's guitar playing is, I don't really have... I shouldn't really... My opinion shouldn't really have any weight to it because, like I said, I haven't really listened to a lot of his stuff. I mean, I say I have, but I haven't really. You know what I mean? I don't really have an opinion on it So I can't really say, I'm afraid. He's literally one of the most influential guitarists that's ever been, Mr. Hank is. But for me, he's not on my radar of guitarists. So because he's not on that radar, I don't really think about him, if that makes any sense. He doesn't really come up. I love his guitar playing style, and I love his sound and what he did and stuff like that. But it's not really something I'll listen to every day. So as a result of that, my opinion doesn't really hold any weight, and it shouldn't really, because, like I say, it's not one of those things. But I can definitely agree that he was definitely one of the first kind of like big guitarists that we had from the UK. Hank was. He really was. And again, the amount of people that man's influenced is insane. It really is. People from Brian May, Gary Moore, Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page. You name it, they all were influenced, and all wanted to be Jimmy Page. They all wanted to be Hank Marvin. Everyone wanted a red Stratocaster as well. Mark Knopfler. All these guys, they all wanted a red Strat. They all wanted to look and play and sound like Hank Marvin. It's really cool. But as for me, like I say, because he's not on my radar of guitarists I have influenced me, I've not really listened to him from that standpoint. There's a couple of different ways you can hear people, and when I listen to Hank, he doesn't come from that perspective to me, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So I find it kind of hard to kind of say one thing or another, because I say it's not really fair for me to chime in on something I don't really have too much knowledge about. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. But again, Hank Marvin is insane. Malcolm, the guy who I bought my '62 Strat off, he's a huge Hank Marvin fan. Hank is his hero, and he wanted to be him. So that's always really cool. And again, Malcolm played all the Shadows tunes, and plays them extremely well. If you've seen that video with Malcolm, when I go take the 62 back and we talk about how he got it, where he got it, who his heroes were, when he plays Sleepwalk at the end of the video, it's just stunning guitar playing. Malcolm's such an amazing guitarist, he really is. He's absolutely stunning, and the way he plays that is so good. But yeah, so should really talk to Malcolm more about Hank than me. But anyway, I hope that's this question. Going to move on to the final question today. Question 2 is this. Could you do a video explaining how Kurt Cobain's chorus works on your Zoom G2? I'm not going to do an entire video on Kurt's chorus because it would be ridiculously short. It'd be like 2 seconds long. And in all fairness, Kurt didn't use a chorus. The small clone is actually a phaser, but he used to run it really low. It had that kind of chorusy sound. But if you watch like Aneurysm at Rock in Rio, you can hear Kurt. He's wound the phaser all the way up on the that ascending line he does. You can hear at that Rock in Rio gig where he's wearing pajamas by the looks of it. He's got it wound up really high, and it's phasing. It's just doing this sound. But if you want to emulate that kind of chorusy, phasery chorus sound that Kurt had, the small clone, I think it's a small clone. Is it a small stone? I get mixed up all the time. People with a tube, correct me. I forget if it's a small stone or small clone. I get them mixed up all the time. I can never keep my head straight on that one. But basically what I use to emulate it is just using the chorus mode in the G2, and I set it 40, 50, 40. That's it. Left to right, 40, 50, 40. That's it. So it's just chorus, 40 on the gain dial, on the tone it's 50, and then on the level it's 40. That's it. That's what I do. And it sounds pretty close. I mean, it does the job. I'll say at the end of the day, it's a phaser pedal that Kurt used. It wasn't a chorus pedal per se. So me doing a video on that would be a bit weird because I technically don't have that pedal. And like I say, it's just a one dial pedal. It's just you turn it on and you turn it to exactly where you want it to be. It's a real simple pedal. It does have a switch on it, I think, as well, but it's very simple. But like I say, I won't be doing a video on that, but that's how I have it set up. Like I say, on my Zoom pedal. That's what I would use if I had to go and do something Kurt Cobain-y. But yeah, so anyway, I hope that's helped anyway. But like I say, that's how I've got mine set up, and it sounds pretty close. But yeah. But again, yeah, people do correct me. Is it Small Clone or Small Stone that Kurt used? I'm totally get confused with the names because they're so close. And one is a chorus and one's a phaser. And whichever one's the phaser is the one that Kurt used, along with the DS2 or DS1 or Sans Amp, depending on which era we're talking about. Anyway, hope that's answered questions for today, PeopleTube. Again, we'll be back tomorrow for A&Q Thursday to do the other two. If you like the channel, like what I do here, please consider becoming a patron at Patreon. Link to that is in the description box below. Also, if you want to submit a question for A&Q Wednesday or Thursday, the description box below has an email link. Email me there and I will get to your question. Other than that, I will see you again tomorrow. I'll see you again tomorrow. I can't speak. Excuse me. It's John Frusciante and Jimi Hendrix's Tears are really strong today, but very good. I've got a bit of a kick to it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, everybody. I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great one until then. Have a great morning, afternoon, and good evening. Goodbye now. Thank you very much indeed for watching.